So I decided this morning I am going to examine some aquarium specimens under the microscope. Collected these a few hours ago, and they're ready and roaring to go. Let me show you what I've got. So if you're curious what we're going to be looking at, I've got some samples of moss that's growing out in my yard. I was just curious to see what's on terrestrial moss versus aquatic moss, and we've looked at aquatic moss before. Mark Sterlson, hello. G'day, how's it going? I hope you're doing well. And, oh, I just made a mess. I just spilled one of my samples. But then we've got samples here that we've got green water here that unfortunately I just spilled. And I'm just looking for critters in it that are visible. Which I'm not seeing any of the big ones, so at least we didn't lose any large critters in there. But what I'm really curious about is what the algae looks like in a green water sample that is green as this one. This water is very, very green, and I'm curious about that. So good morning, everybody rolling in. So let me go over what we're looking at. I should probably let me set this down for a sec so I don't break this so I don't break this open and spill more. So I know it's dark. I'm here with you guys. I'm here guys. It's okay. And I've got samples that I took a day ago also, so I'm kind of curious how they're doing. But, one of them does not smell good. One of them smells like a dirty, dirty pond. And that is probably the one that I opened that is the dirtiest water, and which was filter water that's been sitting now in a airtight container. That one right there that we're looking at in the center, the brown one, that one smells terrible. Then we've got all sorts of algae and little collections of stuff from basically this is from last night. This is from in the day yesterday, some of these. And let's see. I fall asleep during a live stream and wake up to a live stream. Did I die and go to heaven? Well, welcome, EJ. I'm glad that you dig it. I just feel like I wanted to go live and do this. Hey, Aquaman, what's going on, man? Good to see you. So good to see you. Brush it off. Hello, Daryl Dimer. Hello. Brian, what's up, man? Got you back again, too. So yeah, this is the selection of the stuff, and I videotaped it, so I might do a video of the highlights. I'm not sure yet, but basically you can see here this basically different filter. Like when I go to a hang off the back filter, and I haven't cleaned it in a while, this is different. Different slimes, basically different biofilms from each of those, whereas this is different algae from different aquariums. And this here, we have more pond water. This is the really intense pond water, the really green stuff that looks like Mountain Dew outside out back. But it's kind of dim in here, and that's on purpose for the microscope because it's all set up. I've got my harness set up for it. And so let's just get right at it. I just wanted to show you guys size-wise, we're talking small stuff. But once we get situated, yes, this should be interesting, hopefully. That's the goal, I mean, right? You guys might be in the dark for a minute while we get the lens lined up with the microscope. And almost. Where are we at? I guess we have to decide on how zoomed in we're going to be first. Because these new cameras on phones have different amounts of zoom. But I figured I could be doing this alone and filming the highlights, or I could just do a live stream and chat with you guys while I do it. So I'd rather just do that and chat with y'all, and you guys get to see whatever it is I see when I see it. So hold on, let's get this lined up. We're so close, yet so far. Come on. Almost there. There we go. Light at the end of the tunnel. And that's not quite lined up. This thing has like yaw and pitch. There's about 5 different little control mechanisms on here, which makes for, I mean, it's nice that you can dial it in so tightly, but it makes it so that if it's not just right, the adapters are kind of a pain. So we're not quite right yet. Whoa, we had it for a sec. Yes, as long as the light at the end of the tunnel is not a train. I agree. What's that? Isn't there? There's a Streets, the British group called the Streets. I always liked that band, but they had a song called "If You're Going Through Hell, Keep Going," and they said there's, I always liked that song, but it said if there's light at the end of the tunnel, it just might be a train. Let's see where we're at with when we put something on here to actually focus on. That might help. Hey, what's up, Shanna? How are you? I don't know about workaholic, but I'm a something-aholic, fishaholic, curiousaholic. Let's go. Oh, that's what we're gonna need. We need that light like that. Actually, is my stage? Oh, there we go. It was the aperture. All right, we should be good soon. Alright, so let's start off with a piece of hair algae because I know what that looks like, so we'll know when it's focused. And it's actually got a piece of, there are a few pieces of algae of several sorts that kind of got stuck together here, but that's okay. Now we don't want it to be, we don't want the red and blue light, we want the white light. Oh, I bet I can tighten this. There we go. Part of our problem. Oh, it's so close, I can see it. Alright, let's see here. Whoa. Now we just need to get it. Hey, there we go. And just need to bump the... Oh, wait, hold on. My phone's not muted. Mute. Sorry, I had to mute my phone. My mutiny. My mutant need. Why is this... Alright, let's see. Can we align that even better? What's going on? Why... See, this is the only part that's a bummer, is when I'm working on these live, you guys have to deal with all my tinkering and trying to tune everything so that it comes in clearly. But there, that's looking pretty good right there. There we go. All right. So, let's see what we're looking at. And right here we've got, we actually might be a little too bright. We've got algae. This is a hair algae, green hair algae that we're looking at. And let's look at some individual strands. This is the really thick hair algae, that green hair algae, like a Marimo moss ball. And it actually looks a lot more like a plant than most algae do. It is the little filaments on their own. Let's see here. You can see that they're pretty robust. They are not the square little compartments like a lot of algae appears to be, which I don't know. I think that's kind of interesting. That looks to be part of a plant right there. That is not algae. That must be a piece of moss. Hold on, let me look at that with, let me get light on the actual slide again real quick, because, oh yeah, of course that is a piece of moss. That's why that looked so plant-like rather than algae-like. Let's slide over and get some actual algae. That's interesting, though, that this... Oh, we've got critters. Got our first critter spotting, y'all. I saw it moving. I see it moving now. What is it? What are we looking at? Oh, now it's going to be all shy. Looks to be a little worm of some sort. A little paramecia. Well, not paramecia. Probably a little detritus worm. But the crazy part is I'm touching this with my hands or with a little pipette to put it on here. I mean, I can't see anything on it that would indicate there's any life on it. It just looks like a little clump of green and some moss. So when you start seeing the critters that live in it, it's always kind of exciting to me. Morning, Jess. I'm gonna. I don't have a clock in front of me, but I think at about 5 minutes till is when it'll say I've been streaming for a half hour, something like that. So there's probably another 20 minutes, and then I'll cut off because I don't want to overlap with your show. But hey, this sample's not that interesting, guys. A piece of moss, not that interesting. Let's find something that is... I mean, there's something creepy crawly going on in there. Right in the center of the moss. You can see it. But we can't make out what it is. So that's no fun. Let's find something where we can make out what it is. Let's take the nastiest water I have. Let's just kick this up to atomic. Oh boy. What is this gonna look like? Oh boy. That is some nasty water right there. So this is that atomic green water that I showed on the live stream last night. It appears that there are a whole lot. I mean, that looks like a culture of... Well, look at all these paramecium too. I mean, I don't understand what's making this water green necessarily. But those are definitely like little vinegar eel type, nematodes or something. And then look at all these little single cell protozoa. This is what would make you extremely sick if you got water that was this alive, out of a creek or something. This is the stuff that's very likely to ruin your day and digestive tract. So I find that interesting. Sorry, it's jiggling. These are wet slides, so they're tricky that way. But man, look at those things. And it formed in like it came in kind of like this little jelly ball of goop on the slide. But let's kick it up a notch. Let's zoom in 400 times instead of 200 times and see what we got going on. Okay, so I'm starting to see some of the not nematodes. This is why green water is amazing for fry. Are you? What are those then? If do you know, passionate fruit, what those worms are? I mean, it's probably hard to know. So there is algae in here. You can see the filamentous parts of it, but there's also the single cell algae, which are those green guys there with the chlorophyll in it. That green water is what's amazing for your fish. That's what your fish are going crazy for. We're zoomed in almost 1,000 times with the digital zoom right now. So we're almost at like seeing bacterial, and I haven't dyed anything, but even my voice rattles this. Um, but I just wanted to show you guys the green water, and I'll show the samples again before I turn off this when we're done in 15 or 20 minutes or whatever. But I mean, look at the different life forms. There's these little green guys. Let's play with the color of the amount of light coming through. So those look like maybe stentors. They kind of look like little stentors. Those cone-shaped guys that are eating. They look like a goblet or a wine glass. Those are one thing. Yep, you can see one of them is just eating, and they're tethered. Look at that up in the top right, on the top right. There's one that's tethered, and it's eating algae. There's even algae at the base of it. Alex, how do you feed green water to fry? Well, I just get a little pipette and feed it to him. Now, this green water I wouldn't necessarily feed to fry because this green water here, yeah, this water here was all the mosquitoes, bloodworms, all that stuff, and snails' water outside, and then it's been sitting in the sun for like 5 days. What I would probably do is take a sample of this and grow it out. I don't know that I would want the mosquito larvae and all that stuff, because a lot of them have died or shed their little skins, exoskeletons. But those green orbs, that's what your little fish are dying for, are those plankton. They love that stuff. And in between it, you can see there's little protozoa. Now, we don't know what kind of protozoa. Protozoa could be dangerous. It could be totally safe. It could be nutritious. We really don't know. But it's pretty cool to watch this. And the thing that's really neat is when you see a larger creature just come cruising through. So let's scoot it over a little bit again and see if we can find anything else. And I'm going to save these slides so in about 10 minutes here we can all look at what the heck I was looking at. But these are Could the worms have been midge larvae? No, these are way smaller than that. They do look like that, but these are all of this is would fit probably on the head of a ballpoint pen. All of this that we're looking at right now. The whole little puddle is no bigger than half of a pinky fingernail at most. And we're looking at a very specific chunk of it that has here, let me zoom back out to 200 times zoom. We're looking at this chunk right here. This chunk to the human eye looks like maybe a piece of salt, I guess. I don't think it even looks that big. But let me scoot back over to those worms. Or larva or whatever they are. Nematode. Someone said they're not nematodes. I don't know what they are. But there's a bunch of them. Whoa, what are we looking at here? This is an interesting, like, matrix of... Is that just worms all kind of staggered in a weird fashion? I'm trying to look at it with my naked eye, too. And see what the heck we're looking at. Those are just, I mean, this is just dense, whatever they are, little wormy things. I'll have to figure out what these are. Look, some of them have like little feet. These could be some sort of very young midge. You're right. You're right, they could be. They're very small, though. Maybe like little no-see-um type things. Something like that. What I can do is I can save the slide and add more water again. There's still water on it, but we can add even more and see what develops, what hatches out of there. But again, we're looking at all sorts of interesting life in here. There was something that was just cruising around that had a long tail that I was looking at. Where did that go? Man, this slide is just alive with life. All that green stuff is goodies. It is green water. Alright, let's look at another sample just in the interest of time. I'm going to set this slide aside, and then I'll show it to you guys afterwards too, so you guys can see what we were looking at. And let's get a sample. Get a new slide down. Let's get a sample from the spillway of one of my... Let me double check here. Let's get a sample from the spillway of one of my hang off the back filters. Also, there's one that I've got protein film. I'm gonna set some of that on here. I don't know if we'll be able to see much of anything. I'm curious. I don't know how well it's gonna transfer. But then I've got this concoction that was basically slime that came off a hang off the back filter. Let me spread it out a little bit. And can somebody tell me when we're getting right up on the hour? Pretty please. I don't want to walk all over Jess's aquatic morning show. We can always revisit this little project. I'll be working on it for a week, I'm sure. Alright, so first things first, this is the powder scraped off of the side of the aquarium. Hold on. Oh, your comment. Let's see here. Line up. It's tricky to get. Let's get it. So this should be. I'm guessing this is cyanobacteria colonies here, and that's why I'm trying to get this in focus. Yes. So this is cyanobacteria, or a blue-green algae rather. And you can see there's like some little worm, or who knows what, a little detritus worm, or uh, I don't know what. You guys are going to be amazed when you look at the slide and see how small and how insignificant of an area this is, and how often you've probably been playing in your aquarium, mucking about with stuff, and touched this and just wiped it on your clothes or whatever. Let me find an interesting clump. So I'm trying to find one of those little worms that is out in the open on this one. We've got there's not as much protist in this little sample, but here's some fungi, and we're gonna kick it up a notch. Let's go to magnification. Let's go up all the way to 400. And I know it's jiggling. It'll stop. If I see something, I'll stop talking, stop breathing. But these little filaments that you're seeing, that's hyphae from fungi. So those little fuzzy things you see in your aquarium from time to time, so those little boxcars you're seeing there, that's algae proper. And then the little hairs are called hyphae. And then the little round guys are probably protozoa, or protists, life forms. And this is all just a little scraping of the green hard diatom algae on the cichlids tank. There we go. Now we can see the blue-green algae. 14 minutes. Thank you so much, Killer Kitty. So we're also seeing like a purple color too, which I find interesting. But in here we're seeing a lot of fungal growth in with this diatom growth, which that interests me. And you can actually see the hyphae, or those little spindly feather things. Look, you can actually see them moving. And those move by water being pumped into them, and they can grow and move and seek out nutrients and form a mycelial network. And then they'll overlap with one another like straw or something, and eventually lead back to kind of a mother system or network. And then you get a fruiting body if it's the kind of thing that does that. But again, as we look at these little hairs, they're actually moving on these fungi. Look at that. I didn't look for tardigrades live last night, but I did play around looking for them on the moss. You know what's interesting about this stuff that I scraped off the edge of the glass is we've got like a blackbeard algae or something like that, the black stuff. But I don't even see cell walls in it. Then we've got this either fungal or it's some sort of life that's mimicking the fungi, that's almost like a sea anemone or a sea fan, which I'll have to figure out later. I mean, really, this is uncharted territory for me. I don't know what I'm looking at more than, I do some research when I see something, and then come back, and then that time when I see it next time, I'll know. But um, there's basically 6 categories of things that are common in ponds as far as big bucket categories. All right, so we can see this stuff, and it's pretty cool, but there aren't a lot of little critters in it. Not seeing a lot of little critters. They're seeing some movement, seeing some little protists coming and going, doing their thing. Some single cell algae. That's the same stuff that would make up the green water. Hey Nate, what's up? Michelle, hello. Fishymon, what's up, dude? And Brian, what's up, man? Who else is in here? So, what do we got going here? There is more life on this end. This of the slide. This millimeter of the slide. All right, so let's kick it back down to 200 times zoom, and now we can kind of see more of all the little buggers moving around on this chunk of stuff. And that's blue-green algae, which, again, you don't see the cell wall structure of it. It's too small. It's these colonies that are in fibers. And then there's some sort of fungi growing all throughout it that are those hairs. So that's the mycelial network, or the hyphae of that. Now, if I scoot over, what was I looking at here? Oh, that slid off the slide. Good job, Alex. So, I'm going to go over to the muckiest muck from my filter in one of my tanks that's about 3 years old. Now, we're going to have to skirt around the edge to find the life because it's just so dark, I think, otherwise. But looks like we got maybe a detritus worm of some sort here. Definitely pulsating, working its way through, eating detritus. Thanks for doing your job, little dude. And I think we can change the color on here a bit by changing the aperture. He's very it is very conscious of looking around for food. It's definitely got like eyes and a nervous system and the whole 9 yards as far as planning its day. These little worms. Here's a different one. This one almost moves like a leech, the way it's pumping water into itself and then scooting around. It's a segmented worm. Let's see here. Hey, come back. Almost like a little inchworm. And very active. The other thing is they're not so happy right now because the light is hot. I mean, it warms up about 80 degrees or so, and they've been at 70 or so for a while. So they're not extremely thrilled by that. Now, I'm actually surprised there isn't more life on this slide. This is really that the nasty of the nasty stuff that the pond scum looking stuff on the spillway of the hang off the back filter. And I mean, we're seeing some little worms, some little, I don't know what they are, flat worms or normal worms, segmented or flat, I don't know. They're very small, under a millimeter long, because we're at 200 times magnification. Um, but I just find that interesting. Let's see the other edge of this to see if maybe we can unleash more life. It surprises me actually that it's so robust in the bacteria and the algae and the fungi that are living on this sample, and that there aren't a ton of little critters on it. But this is a very healthy tank, and so maybe that's saying something compared to like pond water and green water. This is like a crystal clear water. There's definitely samples of all sorts of different algae, and it's 9:57. Okay, all right. Let me back out of this real quick. Brian, have a good one, sir. Let me slide this out. All right. So, what we've been looking at, the first slide, all those little worms were in that puddle, the middle one there. This was the puddle that wasn't as interesting. Let me see if we can get some contrast with some white, or yeah, like right here maybe. It was that puddle that has all the worms, the clear looking one. This puddle had the little green algae dudes going everywhere. This was the green filamentous algae that had the fungi all over it. And then, we're not doing official slides like I should be, but it's okay. Hold on. Let me slide this off. I just don't want to smush anybody or do anything to mess with the settings on the microscope too badly. But then the thing that had the crazy purple fungi looking stuff in it was just this powdered, scraped off stuff that's in all this water here. This was the one that had all the fungi looking stuff all over it, and the cyanobacteria. And then all right, sure, if you want to hashtag micro beasts when you get to the Aquatic Morning Show, the more the merrier. I'm probably going to hop over there too. And then this was the stuff that was from the spillway of another aquarium. But didn't see anything that was groundbreakingly new this time. So we'll have to do this again. We'll do this again soon. New local Austin. I'll probably do this again. We just took not even 6 real samples. We took 2 out of the same container for 2 of those. So we really only went through 3 of these boxes, which are all different samples from different aquaria. This isn't really airtight. I mean, it loosely is, but nothing's going to die in here. And then I'm still looking for tardigrades and other critters on here. I found some springtails and stuff. I don't want to take over her show. I already have the segment thing on Jess's show, but let me show you guys real quick on this aquarium where I got those samples that we looked at today. So those samples were, one of them was one of those little nodules of stuff And then the other one was scraped off. Hold on. Scraped off the glass here, off this green. I don't know if you guys can even see it. Let me try to get at an angle where you can see it. It's like a dusty algae, like a diatom algae that's on the front of the glass. And it's hard to see, but when you take a blade, you end up with a good amount of it. There's some right here on the edge. See that dark line of green? Very subtle. Oh, it's on the suction cup too. Hard to see in a live stream, sorry guys. Live streaming is the worst quality. So in any case, wanted to do that for about 40 minutes this morning. I'll be back doing more of this. Today I'll probably look for some samples that are cool and then set them aside so that we can re-examine them. But I might do another live tonight. I don't know, I'm kind of on a roll with this thing. So I just wanted to share in my excitement and yeah. So we'll do it again. This one wasn't that thrilling, except for that like ball of worms that or larvae or whatever. If someone knows what this is, you know, let me know. I'd love to hear about it. If someone knew what those little detritus, whatever they were, indoor versus outdoor detritus, that is exactly what's in those containers. So that when we looked at those, the one with all the little larva stuff, it was from that container outside that's been sitting for, well, it's rainwater that's been sitting all summer, but that is in one of those tubs, but it wasn't that color. It was a yellow, and then it turned neon Mountain Dew green in the last 4 days in the sun. So we are going to we'll re-examine it again next time. You know, if I'm still doing this in 2 hours after the aquatic morning show and nobody's streaming that would be offended, we'll meet up here again in about 2 hours. And if that's not the case, we'll meet up again tonight probably. Sorry, Armando, I know you just got here and now I'm just leaving, but yeah. But yeah, we'll look at whatever y'all want to look at because I'm just having fun with this right now. It is, you know, the thing that sucks is I'd love to have 2 cameras so that I could show you guys, and the laptop's dead right now, but I'd love to be able to show you guys where I got the thing and then show you the thing. But as you can see, my allergies are pretty bad right now. So seasonally too, like there's pollen and all sorts of other interesting stuff out there that's going to be in those ponds. Lots of pollen. Mulm, I got you. I know what you meant. Detritus, mulm, whatever. I got you. You know, another thing that I want to look at is this jar that's like 4 years old, and you can see the casings of where little critters, little flies hatched off of it. But this thing is got a substrate that's super old. 4 years old. I mean, for being alive and well the whole time. It used to actually be water enough for a fish, but like for some baby rice fish. But now I'm growing some sundews in there, and yeah, I'd be interested to sample that moss that stays moist, but also air. So we'll see. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to let you go off to the aquatic morning show. If you guys want to go do that, I'll meet you over there. And it will be, if you guys want, it will be hashtag, what was it again? You guys crack me up. Brian came up with it. Micro beasts. I was like, aquatic beasts? Micro beasts. This is going to be my pack-a-bowl container, I think, too. So, yeah. Rewind the stream when it's over and check out the eye spots on the one worm in the last sample. Okay, all right, I definitely will. Indoor tardigrade colony. I hope so. Wouldn't that be great? All right, guys, have a good one. I'll see you over in the aquatic morning show stream, and then yeah, basically this is what happened was my wife's out of town, is I take over the living room with Microscope equipment and slides and jars and stuff. So we'll do something. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye.